Hello, this is Neil Peart. I'm introducing my new instructional DVD called Taking Center Stage, A Lifetime of Live Performance. And the title and subtitle kind of encapsulate everything that we put in this. It captures all of my preparations for Rush's Time Machine Tour, 2010, 2011, 81 shows, right from the beginning of my rehearsals on my own, through a complete live performance in Saratoga Springs with the whole concert set, and then breakdowns of it coming from my preparatory rehearsals. So different elements of those songs are looked at, and then it's all tied together magnificently by the scenery of Death Valley National Park, where we did all the narrative sections to go in between the songs. So all in all, it's a program I'm pretty proud of, and I hope you'll enjoy it. The three instructional DVDs that I've made over the years, A Work in Progress about recording, Anatomy of a Drum Solo about drum soloing, and this newest one, Taking Center Stage, A Lifetime of Live Performance, about the whole enterprise of launching a tour and performing live and what it's meant to be over my life. All of these projects have been undertaken with two other collaborators, and interesting that I love collaborations of three is Wallis and Paul Siegel have worked with me through all of these, and we met in a very nice organic way actually through filming the Buddy Rich tribute concert early on, and then the Buddy Rich tribute album that I produced in the early 90s was when we worked together day after day, drummer after drummer, and developed a really good relationship. And it truly is a collaboration, which is to me the richest form of expression. I love being in a band of three people, and I love in my prose writing even, I work very closely with an editor and with a graphic designer on the website. I love those kind of collaborations that elevate my work. And I say about working with my bandmates, the drum parts that I come up with and the lyrics that I write are always enormously elevated by their input, and they're inspiring in that sense. In the same way that Rob and Paul and I work together, we share an idea, somebody else elevates it, it becomes, in each of those DVD projects that I've made, became so much greater than I ever could have imagined, and certainly the same is true of this one. Way to go, guys. Around 1996, I made my first instructional DVD with the Hudson music guys, Rob and Paul, and it was called A Work in Progress, which referred to me, but also the project under discussion was the making of Rush's Test for Echo album. And it was about creating drum parts and working in the studio and basically making a record. My second one, almost 10 years later, around 2005, was Anatomy of a Drum Solo, and examined that subject pretty deeply into what my preoccupations were at the time in terms of drum soloing and composing and presenting a solo in front of an audience. And it seemed to me the next great theme that we should look at was live performance. To me, the ultimate test of a musician, and so much of everything I've learned and everything I've built in the physical machine of being a drummer came to be applied to that theme. So we started collecting material for that as Rush began its 2010-2011 Time Machine Tour. So we captured the earliest rehearsals on my own. My bandmate Geddy likes to joke that I'm the only musician he knows that rehearses to rehearse. But I do like to spend 2 or 3 weeks alone just playing along with the recorded versions of the songs to elevate my playing up to what I consider to be the benchmark of how each of those songs should be performed, and working on a new drum solo and putting together all of the elements that will be part of eventually a 3-hour performance. So having collected that, then we collected a live show at Saratoga Springs, New York in the summer of 2010. And then we needed a further element that would be the narration, my exegesis to describe what I was doing in some of those songs. And it was a good thing that the set list was quite a broad catalog of Rush songs, both old and new, so I was able to apply a lot of themes and a lot of things that I've learned along the way. And it was also beautiful that we filmed that talking part of it in Death Valley National Park, which was an unforgettable, beautiful experience, one of my favorite places in the world, and a beautiful background in front of which to contrast against the live performance and the rehearsals, these places of scenic splendor that I could then explicate what I was doing and why in certain songs along the way. And one interesting thing that transpired is often when I'm explaining things, I'm learning things. And something that I learned as I talked to Joby in the course of this was the nature of, it seems so fundamental, but Rush songs are all made to be played live. They weren't made to be a record, and they weren't made to be a song on the radio. They were made as a vehicle for us to perform. And that was something I'd never actually clarified in my own mind before, that when we write a song and rehearse it and arrange it, we are creating a performance. And that was such an insight into the nature of our band and the live performance orientation of our band. And as I looked at each of the songs individually and watched the way I construct a drum part that builds detail upon detail, complexity on complexity, an exciting climax and all that. They're like little performances, each unto themselves. And sure enough, that's absolutely true, that the way they were performed. So it was wonderful for me to get an insight into what I've been doing for 46 years that I hadn't actually articulated before by means of explaining it to others. So the nature of the program covers all of that material in beautiful scenes and settings, of course, in Death Valley, and then live performance with a number of cameras on the drums. And then the rehearsal footage was great for breaking down and looking at slow motion elements and details and so on. So all in all, we have, I think, close to a 7-hour show that tells everything I know and some things I didn't know about live performance.